square stitch bezel also in the Seed Beads and More group this month. So this is a perfect exercise to make even more of it. You can find the free square stitch bezel tutorial at beadingschool.com between the gift tutorials, and you need something of like 8mm and of a circular shape for the middle. It can be a pearl, it can be a PRECIOSA NACRE cabochon, it can be a chaton, it can be a Rivoli. Important is that it's 80mm, it's round shaped, and that you need to bezel it when starting with 22 pieces of MIYUKI DELICA seed beads size 11. So please do that if you haven't done it yet, because I will start after that part when I'm going to show you how we do it. In the meanwhile, also Vania joined us, and Sharon, and Miriam, and Bernadette, Maria, Terry, Malka, Erika. Erika says that this is her first time with a fuchsia box and she is looking forward to it. Thank you for joining and welcome to the gang. And wishing you lots of fun and ideas. And Temi is here. Susan. Miriam says she feels like a bezeling machine. Faster, my friend, faster. Nancy. And Ginny, please get in touch about that. I see your question. Please get in touch about that at info@beadingschool.com. And Susan, Constance, Martine, Yosin. If you haven't heard your name, then it means that I don't see your name. My broadcasting program enables me to share this video at 2 places at the same time, in the Beading School Club and also on the Beading School Facebook page. And yeah, if you are watching from the club, then you might need to enable my broadcasting program to see your name, so then I can talk to you like more personally. Also, it makes it easier if you have a question, then it's better if I can say like, hey Nancy, then Facebook user. So in the meanwhile, the PDF tutorial that you can print or save on your computer, whatever, open on a second device, it's already available at NoOneHasToBeadAlone.com. You have 2 options, as always, with the No One Has to Bead Alone class. You can download it for free, and then it's my helping hand to you, Beading School's helping hand to you. And also you have the option to purchase it for €5 to keep the broadcast going. In any way, thank you so much for your company, and let's see what do we need for today's class. I will share with you now my second camera, and I will show you the shapes also that I am working with. And hi Mary, and hi Elena. So first of all, this is what we are going to bead. Just a moment, I need to flip my camera because it's mirroring. Now it's all right. And if we start out from the middle, then you can see I used an 8mm PRECIOSA NACRE cabochon in cranberry for the middle of the bezel. This is the same type of cabochon that I have also used for the Harmony jewels in Seed Beads and More. And I like them for the smooth effect and the nice full color that they offer to us. You can use in place of that a chaton, a Rivoli, even a round pearl. It's up to you. And I'm curious, which option did you choose? Please let me know in a comment. So that's for the middle. You can make it more opaque looking if you choose the NACRE cabochon or an ordinary bead, or you can make it more shiny if you go for the chaton or the Rivoli. You will need also 3mm BICONE beads, And I have used the cyan ones that come from with the Beading School Academy team box. If this is your first time joining and you don't know what Beading School Academy is, then please make sure to check it out, beadingschoolacademy.com. So I used the beads from that. And then from the bigger beads, you will also need some 6mm MIYUKI bugle beads. I use the slender bugle type because they are just more elegant, they look sleeker, and also I have an experience that they are less fragile and they look a lot nicer, I think, than the ordinary chunky bugle beads. So mine are in matte black. This theme at Beading School Academy is called Lucia's Light. Lucia is bringing us light during the dark winter nights, but there is no light without darkness, without shadow. So we also need those dark tones in the box to make the silver and the gold tones shine brighter. So those are the big beads. And then you need a bunch of seed beads. MIYUKI DELICA size 11. I have the matted opaque ghost gray, nice neutral. And then I have used 2 colors of size 15 MIYUKI round seed beads. One is in Duracode galvanized gold, the other one is crystal full Labrador. This is my absolute favorite silver shade. When it comes to beading, it's a check coating on Japanese MIYUKI seed beads, and it's not yellow, it doesn't tarnish, it looks great, it's shiny, it looks as if silver is supposed to look like. And then I have the size 11 round seed beads in the same color, the crystal full Labrador, and of course you will need some kind of findings to finish your jewel. So I have here the earring components also from the Beading School Academy team box, full of crystal, cubic zirconia crystals, and with a little loop at the bottom that you need to close. If it's open, you can close it with your round nose pliers and then attach it to your beadwork. So let's see, what are you ladies using for your focal? And Margaret is asking in the meanwhile, has it snowed anywhere by you ladies? Not in my part yet. They say it might during the weekend, but not yet. And hi Lisa, and hi Manuela. Terry's using the NACRE. Ginny is using the Chaton. Yersin is also using the NACRE. Oh, Antoinette is also NACRE girl in dark blue. And Ariana, she went for a pure Chaton. The design is so airy that I want as much light pass through as possible. That's a great idea, Ariana. I like it. And if you make it into earrings, then I think the pure Chaton will shine so nicely. Which color do you have? I'm too excited. Yeah, all the coffee. I told you in the club today that I might have drunk a bit too much coffee today. I might be weird. I might talk even more than usually. It's the coffee, even if tiny, but it was a lot. And Robin, hi. Miriam uses NACRE calves in red. Oh, Tammy says that she also likes the crystal Labrador beads. And Susan says that it has also become her favorite silver. Thanks, Sonia. And Sherry joined us. Christine. Oh, Marta has lots of snow. Jessica says she has a pure Chaton in red velvet. Oh, and we have more NACRE cabochons. Nice. Oh, and Katarina is experimenting already with a pendant. So she's starting with a 12mm chaton. Nice. I'm curious, Katerina. Make sure to post it, okay? Marika says she has a 10mm cabochon. So she's also experimenting a bit. So ladies, let's get started. I hope that by now, even those of you who might have left the homework for the last moment are finished with bezeling the chaton or any kind of cabochon, so we can get started. I will remove my face. Thank you for the compliment, Vanya, with my nice hair today. From the screen, and I will show you only my hand camera, and I will show you the illustrations. So please let me know after I switch if you can still hear me talking, okay? Now you can hear me. I just said in the meanwhile that Miriam caught up and the cap bezel is done. So is it okay now, ladies? The sound? It should be. Okay. Okay, it's back. Wonderful. Thank you, ladies. Thank you for letting me know. So I will put away now the finished motif. You can take one more good look at it. It's, by the way, if you want to know if I move it, then it's sturdy enough. So it can stand on its own, it can work as a pendant, it can work as an earring, but if you like it that way, you can absolutely attach it to a piece of ultra suede, and that would be beautiful, I think, with some colorful ultra suede peeking through the openings between the bugles, or you can attach it to a filigree. It's up to you. And let's get started. Step 1 reminds you of your homework. Step 1 is just a reminder. Hands up, everyone. Do you have it? And then we can continue. In step 2, we will need MIYUKI DELICAs in size 11. Tammy says in the meanwhile that she loves this design. It looks like a snowflake. Indeed, and I think by all our personal little solutions, every one of them will be as unique as a real snowflake. Ariane is ready. So let's continue with step 2. I start step 2 by exiting a MIYUKI DELICA in the middle row of the bezel. So my thread is hanging from the DELICA, and I pick up a new DELICA bead. I bead through the one that I am exiting, again a square stitch. So when I pull my thread, then the holes of the two beads are parallel with each other, and the new one sits nice and tight on top of the one that I was exiting. I repeat the thread pass just for a bit of extra stability. And then I bead through 3 MIYUKI DELICA beads in the bezel. The one that I am attaching the new seed bead to, and 2 more to get in position for the next MIYUKI DELICA, as I am attaching new DELICA beads into every second piece of DELICA in the bezel. 22 DELICA beads in the bezel, 11 new DELICA beads in step 2, always added with 2 tiny, nice and tight square stitch bezels. Okay, Corinne confessed that she's just starting her bezel as she was cooking something. I hope it's yummy, Corinne. What did you cook today? So now my third DELICA. And please let me know, ladies, if this is easy to follow, if you are on track with these beginnings. This is a super easy step, by the way, but as these beads will be the anchors for everything else, then they need to sit nice and tight around the bezel. Oh, and Corinne actually cooked a Hungarian dish, paprikash, but with rice. So, fusion cooking. Or field paprikas. Oh, and Joanna is stopping by. Hi, Joanna. And enjoy your trip next week. Enjoy your beading time and Thanksgiving, of course. Thanks for stopping by. And Patty joined us. Hi, Patty. Welcome. So I have 5 delicas already. And actually, I like to start my designs when I'm starting out with a bezeled cabochon. It doesn't matter if peyote or with square stitch. Then I have 2 methods that I use frequently when starting to build up the design. So one of my favorites is to add a group of 3 seed beads between every second delica in the bezel, and then add more or bigger beads in between the middle beads of the groups of 3. Or alternatively, if I am starting with a peyote bezel, then I like to add beads in the ditch and then start working with them. Or when I am beading with a square stitch bezel, then the effect is similar to the one when I am adding beads to the ditch, but this time I'm adding beads to every second bead in the bezel. There is no ditch in square stitch bezel since the lines are smooth and nice. Oh, Elena was working also hard today, just like Joanna, so she's starting to bezel now. What did you choose for your focal, dear Elena? Oh, Sandra says, looks like your gel polish is holding up well. Yes, that's why I went for it. I can't live with like normal nail polish because it gets chipped like in 5 minutes after I use it. So yeah, the gel is working well. And Vanya is asking for a calculation for beads in the bezel. So generally with square stitch, it works that you need for the small sizes the same amount of beads as for the peyote bezels. So for 8mm cabochons, it's 22, just like with peyote. For 10mm, it's 28, just like with peyote. But then with the bigger sizes, it's usually less, the number is smaller by 2 than with peyote bezels. So for example, for a 12 millimeter Rivoli, you would need 32 for your peyote bezel, but you need only 30 for a square stitch bezel. But after all, it all comes down to experimenting. So I always just try and see what works. Okay, Elena says she's also working with a NACRE cabochon, but she's making the bezel in silver and gray. I'm curious to see how it will look like at the end, Elena. Jennifer joined us in the meanwhile. Welcome. So I'm ready with step 2. This is how it looks like. So a little cogwheel or star. And then in step 3, I step up by beading through one of the newly added DELICA beads, but in the opposite direction. So while I was beading up until this point counterclockwise, now I'm turning clockwise, and I will be adding 11 pieces of 3 millimeter PRECIOSA BICONE beads into the 11 gaps between the 11 MIYUKI DELICAs that I have added in step 2. So often it is the case with 8 millimeter bezels that, or most of the time it is the case, that the magic number for our formula to keep track of our beading is 11. Since the bezels start with 22 pieces of MIYUKI DELICAs, then usually there are always 11 repetitions around the cabochon. Angelica says that she's beading something Gothic. I'm curious. Anne says that she's using an 8 millimeter pearl. So in the case that you are using a bead and not a cabochon, then you need to anchor the first row of the bezel in a little bit different way than with usual square stitch bezels. So I updated recently the basic tutorial with that part too. So if you haven't seen that one yet, then I recommend downloading it again. By the way, this would also be a nice starting point for an asymmetric design. I have the urge to start experimenting, but I will be a good girl and stick to the motif, of course. But if any of you feels the same, that you need to experiment, then it is wonderful, and I would love to see all your personal ideas. And Tammy says, she's at work and doing Christmas shopping in secret and watching. That's also such a nice part of the holidays, I think, when we are selecting some surprises for our loved ones, or just getting ready for some time that we can spend together and think about it, how that precious time can be the most valuable. And talking about like preparations for the holidays, who is, hands up ladies, who is taking part in the Beading School Secret Santa. Are you already preparing the surprise? If you are. And Susie joined us in the meanwhile. And Chloe, hi. And Chloe is asking, can we use 4mm bugles? I don't have any other sizes in my stash. Chloe, I would recommend trying and adjusting the edges. You will need less beads between the ends of the bugle beads, but yeah, you will need to adjust the pattern. I don't have a formula for that. And Antoinette says she's participating. Marika is, Katy is. Oh my god, I want to be Katy's pair. She has some Belgian chocolate. Facebook user friend already sent it. Antoinette is sending it today. Cindy will be sending it soon. Ladies, you are very, very responsible. Secret Santas, thank you so much for that. And in the meanwhile, I'm finishing step 3. I want this also to be nice and sturdy. So I'm beading through a few more beads, and I want to finish by exiting a 3mm BICONE. Vania asked in the meanwhile, which tutorial did you just update it for the round bead? The basic square stitch bezel tutorial, Vania, that is in the gift part of the bead shop. So it explains you now not only the NACRE bezel, but also the small slight modifications for chatons, rivolis, and the round beads too. And Aniko already sent. Elena already prepared. Angelica is asking how can she participate. Angelica, please keep an eye out for the post, but I'm sorry, next year. For this year, we already closed Secret Santa and the pairs are made. So unfortunately, this year is full for now. Susie also gathered the material. I'm sorry. I think, Angelica, you actually joined us a bit after the announcements. Lutka is also preparing. So in step 4, we are going to use size 15 and size 11 round seed beads. And we are going to add 3 rows of the beads, always size 15s on the sides and a size 11 in the middle. So in my case, it's a golden colored size 15, a silver colored size 11, and another golden colored size 15. So I'm exiting a BICONE, I picked up the beads, and then I bead through the next BICONE. When you are beading through BICONEs, then always pay attention to the edges. They might be a bit sharp, so don't pull your thread through the edge, but try to go with your needle straight through the bead. So when you pull the thread, then it goes straight into the hole and not like, doesn't get caught up on the edge. Because even your FIRELINE, even if you are using the super strong FIRELINE, it can get damaged if there is a shard of glass. By the way, it's always interesting to see, to know, at the moment we have 86 beaders who are working on the same motif at the same time, real time. So this number adds up from the Beading School Facebook page and from the club together, because you can watch this from 2 places. But I see that all together there is, oh my God, 92 in the meanwhile. Plus me, so 93 of us. Isn't it amazing? I hope I can see at least 93 variations after the video. Miriam says, in the meanwhile, with PRECIOSA crystals, I do have less problems with sharp edges than I have with crystals from Austria. And thank you for sharing that, Miriam. And actually, I have the same experience. So yeah, since I completely switched to PRECIOSA, then still I say that, yeah, be careful, but I don't actually run into trouble with them. And of course, like after the broadcast, after today's class, please share your creation in the Beading School Club. It's always nice to see or brainstorm together if you have a question like, how should I finish this? What should I add? What kind of pendant? What kind of component? So please keep the pictures coming. That's always a lovely time to see all the work in progress pictures, but also then, of course, the finished jewels. And in the meanwhile, I'm adding the last group of 3 seed beads. So I pull my thread tight, and to get in position for the next step, I bead to the round 11 bead in the middle of the second or even at the third group. I don't recommend starting right away from the middle of the first group that you added, but please bead at least to the second or the third. So this is how it looks like at the moment. And by the way, we have little flatbed earrings available too. So if you insert them to the back of the PRECIOSA NACRE cabochon before you would pull that last circle of seed beads tight, then you can glue it on, and then you can close the bezel around the flatbed earring, and this part can go on your earlobe instead of hanging under it. So that's another option, and you can even like keep this small. Maybe I would like use a different color here, but you could even like connect 2 parts, and this one would go on your earlobe, and then this would hang under for like a statement piece. And Susan says, love the motif at this point, and what a great idea for earrings. Thank you, Susan, and I'm glad that you like it. There are like so many possibilities. Robina also finds it pretty this way. Or if you would like to go for a necklace, then you can also connect, for example, 3 motifs to each other with by using these smaller motifs in between. And ladies, I see you, some of them are waiting for your boxes still. You should have received a tracking number from us when the box was sent. So if you don't have it yet or you can't find it, please check first of all your spam folders. And if it's not there, then please send us a message to info@beadingschool.com. We are always there for you if you have a question. Or it can also happen that your next payment is scheduled automatically by the payment processing program for a little bit later, and we are waiting for that. But now we can also solve that issue thanks to a new PayPal solution. We can actually help you with that too. Just please get in touch. Miriam says, for this box you need a pair of dark sunglasses. It is so bright and shiny, super beautiful. Miriam, I'm so happy that you like it. And Zuzi is mentioning nail polish again, but actually she also has matching nail polish. So we match each other. And Veronka, our third creative colleague in the Beading School Creative Unicorn team, she is also thinking about matching her outfit to the box, but in a different way. Not by clothes, not by nails like Zuzi and me. Can you guess what other possibility does she have to match the box? And maybe you you saw her, how she changed her outfit when working with the Tatis's treasure box, which was blue and turquoise. So, Miriam says hair, Angelica too, Teresa too. Antoinette says lips, Mariana says shoes. Miriam says hair like Timea. And in fact, yes, Veronka has blue hair now. And today we had a very, very unexpected but lovely Zoom meeting with Susie and Veronka, just checking in with each other and drinking a cup of coffee and beading a bit together. She told us that she might color her hair red. In the meanwhile, I switched my diagrams to number 5. When we are now making the motif bigger by adding some 6mm MIYUKI slender bugle beads. So, have you seen Veronka with her blue hair, by the way? She's super cute with it. So I'm exiting a size 11 seed bead, and I pick up a bugle. I pick up a MIYUKI DELICA and another bugle. So again, a group of 3, and then I bead through the next round 11 seed bead in the middle of the group. As you could see, I tabbed a little bit on the size 11 DELICA to make it sink in between the bugle beads. So when you pick up a bugle seed bead, bugle group, then you could arrange the beads in 2 different ways. As you can see, my second group is like a sharp V, and the first group is like a not sharp. What is the opposite of sharp? Dull? Like a not pointy V. So you should arrange your beads into a not pointy V and make the DELICA sink in between the 2 bugle beads. Keep good thread tension. This is also a part where, if you want to, you can repeat the thread pass all around. It will become a lot sturdier when we add all the decorations from the seed beads, but yeah, if you would like to, then go on and repeat your thread pass. Blonde, Ariana says, and also Facebook user friend. Maybe. I don't know. And Miriam says that she likes the matte bugles from the box. Me too. And I know that you might have heard of it, that I don't like black in general, and I don't like white. But I tell you so often to, like, don't be afraid of stepping out of your comfort zone. Challenge yourself, and you will see. You might learn something new, or you might learn of a path or a color combination that you don't like. And closing a possible journey, it also means that you are finding your way on your bead mat better. So this time, as when I came up with the theme already, like maybe half a year ago, and I started to think about it, that what kinds of shapes and what kinds of colors would fit Lucia Lights the best. And then I had the thought, like, we have to have black in there. For the sake of, like, making it shiny, we have to have black. Because otherwise it would be just like without depth, I think. So I decided that, okay, I always tell you to challenge yourself. It's also time to challenge myself. And Katarina is asking, how long is my thread? And it's actually too short. I will not be able to finish the motif with one thread. I was using a wingspan, but this is pretty much a thread eater, this motif, even if it's not so big in size. But you need, especially because of the repetitions in the NACRE, in the square stitch bezel cabochon in the middle, you need a serious amount of thread for this. I'm adding now the last trio of new beads. So bugle, DELICA bugle, and then I bead through a size 11 bead. So this was step 5. And this is how it looks like at the moment. When I came this far, by the way, when designing, then I had the urge to just simply adding BICONE beads in between the DELICAs. But I thought, like, we need to experiment some more. And instead of filling these gaps and these gaps, let's fill these other ones. And let's add seed beads. So that's what we are going to do. So now I will be repeating the thread path with some little modifications. This is also when I'm going to add some new thread. Usually I add thread by weaving in completely the thread ends and then weaving in a new piece of thread, leading to the place where I need to continue. But sometimes I try to, like, just knot the two pieces of threads to each other, the old and the new one, and pull them together through the beads. So at the same time how I am weaving in the old one, I'm also weaving in the new one. The trick to it is a really good knot, which I'm not super good at, but let's see. Margaret is asking if I ever wax my thread. FIRELINE, I would not recommend waxing. I know that beaders like to wax normal beading threads, like the Toho thread and other kinds, like which remind you more of like traditional threads. But when I did it, then I ended up with wax all over my beads when I was still using classic thread. So I don't like it. But again, it is very personal. So something else might work for you better than for me. So let's see, what are we going to do in this step? So first of all, I will repeat the thread pass until I am exiting the first MIYUKI bugle from the second group. I don't like to start adding something new right away. After the first group. And by the way, other ladies who are here, other beaders, do you like to wax your thread? Please share your experience with Margareta. So, I am exiting the first bugle bead from the group of 3 beads, and I pick up 2 MIYUKI round 15s for my first color, from my first color. I pick up 1 from my second color, and I pick up 2 more from the first color. So I have 5 size 15 seed beads on my thread. I skip the DELICA between the 2 bugles, and I bead through the second bugle bead. I skip the round 11 in between the 2 groups of 3, and I bead outwards directly through the first bead of the second group. And again, I pick up 2 pieces of size 15, first color, 1 piece from the second color, and 2 more from the first color. I have the 5 beads. I bead towards the middle of the motif. I skip the round 11 in between the 2 bugles, and I repeat all around. And in the meanwhile, Katie says she doesn't like waxing. She says never wax the thread. Miriam says I don't wax FIRELINE. Others like 1G, I do wax. Terry says no, I don't. Katarina, no, I use FIRELINE. Antoinette says no, for the same reason you don't. Tammy says I do not, but I use FIRELINE. I will wax Nemo. I don't like wax. Also, Facebook user friend says that she finds that I find I don't need to wax with FIRELINE. And actually, FIRELINE is a very special material, super strong, and it's woven from several pieces of thread, and it's fused together with a special technology. So beaders like to wax thread to keep parts of the thread together so it doesn't start to fray, but FIRELINE has this special technology, so you don't need to keep them together. Like, I know it's like pricey, especially like if you are used to thread, then yeah, you see like for lots of meters of thread you pay a lot less than for a small spool of FIRELINE. However, I think the quality and the easiness to work with it is really worth it. I'm not that picky about my tools, and that you might maybe think I have a very basic bead mat. I use all kinds of like random scissors that I find in the household. Adam is at least once a week telling like the kitchen scissors disappeared again. The nail cutting scissors disappeared again. So I'm not picky about that stuff, but I invest into my beading thread. I use only FIRELINE. I never had a problem unless I saw that already during beading that, oh, it might be damaged because I pulled it through my beads too many times, whatever. And then I was like lazy to start a new thread, and I continued even if I felt that there might be later a problem. But if I was using, like, let's say, healthy FIRELINE, then it never broke. Margaret also says, I love FIRELINE, it works so well. And it was so surprising for me. I was laughing when Chloe last week, our guest Chloe Menage of Pink Hot Jewelry, she told me that she doesn't like FIRELINE. It's like, how come? What's wrong? What's wrong with FIRELINE? I can't even imagine. Does anyone have, like, I have so many pros, I have so many like arguments for FIRELINE. Do you have any arguments contra FIRELINE besides the price, of course? Margaret says, I have a special scissor for my FIRELINE. It's signed with a diamond by a shop. That's nice. Miriam says, contra argument, lack of colors. Indeed, that's right. There is only the black one and the crystal one, and the crystal one is not transparent, so it might show in your beading. So I use mainly dark shades. Or at least, like, I never use transparent beads. I don't like silver lined, for example. So for me, the black satin FIRELINE, which is a lot better than the smoke gray because it doesn't leave marks on your hands or on your beadwork or on your bead mat. So smoke gray works well for me, for my colors. But I imagine that if I liked mixing, for example, imagine white beads or crystal transparent beads and then darker shades, then at some place the thread would be visible. If I used black thread, then the white beads would show, then it would show next to the white beads, and vice versa. And yeah, Katerina says, I get black fingers. Katerina, that was the problem with like old FIRELINE, but there is like a newer type where the color is called black satin. You can find it at beadingschool.com. We have only that from the dark variation. So it does not have the smokiness. You see, like, there are no marks on my thumb. Ariana says, it might be too stiff for some projects. And indeed, that's a really good point, Ariana. For me, the only case when I would not recommend using FIRELINE is a fringe. So fringes look the best when they are like fabric, when they are like smooth and nice. So there I used the normal thread. And in the meanwhile, I beaded all around the motif. I'm skipping the last round 11 between the bugles. So this is how it looks like. Another stage. Tammy says, I like both colors. Dark for darker opaque beads, crystal for more transparent or lighter beads. Facebook user friend says, one thing I find not so good with FIRELINE is that it is not elastic. Bezeling I find easier with a slightly elastic thread. And that's, I think, where the personal part comes in, because I don't like when the thread is elastic. That's funny. Ginny says she likes to use the smoke. She likes to pull the smoke FIRELINE on a tissue before using. That's a good idea, Ginny. And I will switch now to step 8. And I will be adding some seed beads. So I'm starting out from the group of 5 round 15s on top of the bugle decoration. And then I pick up just a moment, I need to adjust my thread. So I'm exiting the group of 5 and I pick up a size 15 seed bead in my silver. I pick up 2 MIYUKI DELICAs, a round 11 seed bead in the same color as my size 15, but it's up to you, and 2 more size 15s. So this is how it looks like, 6 beads, size 15, 2 DELICA beads, size 11, and 2 size 15s. And I bead now through the round 11 that I skipped in the previous step, but in the opposite direction. I pull my thread through completely and I bead back through the 2 size 15s and the size 11, the round one. I pick up 2 more DELICA beads and a size 15 seed bead, and now I bead through 2 size 15s on top of the bugles. I skip the middle one in the accent color, and I finish by beading through the other 2 size 15s. And I know that at this point it might look to you like, Erika, something is wrong. You added slightly too many beads. But please keep going at this point. The very last step does make a tremendous difference. And this should be repeated all around. So 1 piece of size 15, 2 pieces of MIYUKI DELICAs, 1 round 11, and 2 size 15s. You bead through the size 11 in between the DELICAs in the opposite direction. You bead back through the 2 size 15s and the size 11, pick up 2 DELICA beads, and then add a size 15 seed bead. And again, you bead through 4 size 15s on top of the bugles while skipping the one in the middle. Jessica is asking for a repetition. So size 15, 2 DELICA beads, size 11, and 2 more size 15s. I bead through the round 11 in the middle, bead back through 2 size 15s and the size 11, and complete the step by adding 2 delicas and a size 15. Jessica, if you haven't done it yet, by the way, then you can also download the PDF tutorial from no1has2beadalone.com. So then you also have text next to the illustrations. So even if you are beading on your own after this workshop, then it's easier to have on hand all the necessary information that you need for finishing this project. So this is a tricky step a little bit. How is it going with you, ladies? Please let me know. Oh, I don't see any comments. I hope that you are still with me. I know, or you might be super busy beading. Please let me know how is it going. And Ariana says, everything is a little bit wavy. And indeed, mine is also a little bit wavy, but please wait until you add the last step, because it will make a difference. And if it for some reason don't work out for you, because it can happen that you use seed beads with a different finish than I do, and sometimes it makes a difference, that very small difference in size, then what you can do is to adjust the size and the number of seed beads in this part. And Zuzi also says she's pressing the motif down on her bead mat to get the right tension. That's a great idea, Zuzi. I also like doing that. I put down the motif and I gently tap on it to make sure that I have the right tension. First I pull like harder, and when I tap on it, then the thread slides back a little bit to the beads if needed. So then the thread tension is corrected. But yeah, this one is a tricky motif a little bit, that you don't know until you finish, or until you start doing at least the next step, if it's okay or not. And you know, when designing, those are also like the challenging parts, because normally you would say like, okay, it starts to be wavy, I have to do something else. But you can also like make the decision of, okay, let's continue and let's try to fix it. And you know only much later if it worked out or not. And if not, then you need to start again. Okay, Elena says that she caught up and it's going well. Katerina says that she's watching now and she will bead it later. Facebook user friend is watching while watching two kids. And Robina says, and speedy recovery to the mom. Robina says it looks like a flower. Indeed. So I think if you decided to bead it in different colors, then you could also match the flowers in the hair collection. We actually had, except the bugle beads, we had everything available for this also in the flowers in the hair box. So if you are still in flowers in the hair mood, then you can go back there and play with those colors some more. And Kimberly is here. Ooh, and Sarah also likes the idea to attach it on Ultra Sweet. Sarah is really good at embroidery, bead embroidery. And she has some amazing ideas. So I would be curious, what kind of colors would you choose? And maybe it would also be possible to fill in some more beads around it and make it bigger once you attach it to the Ultra Sweet. So there are many, many, many possibilities with this design. It's not only how you hang it, if you hang it on an earring, if you hang it on a pendant holder, if you bead a bigger necklace. You can go beyond that. Those are just the basic possibilities. And during the past years, we have talked, especially during Coffee Times with Erika, when we often discuss like BD technical solutions, BD challenges, BD answers to some common questions, that I think we talked about lots of theoretical stuff that might help you to grow the motif, make it your own, and personalize it completely, not only by changing the colors, but also adding or actually making it smaller. So there are lots and lots of possibilities. Kat likes the design. Thank you, Kat. Are you also beading with us or only listening this time? And Robina says, I confess I'm listening and watching while I peyote. And that's absolutely all right, even if you are just listening, if you are cooking, if you are beading something else. The most important part of No One Has to Bead Alone is to keep each other company and to spend some nice time together. Have you read, by the way, the article about No One Has to Bead Alone in the latest Guild Journal, Beadworkers Guild Journal? We have a full page dedicated to No One Has to Bead Alone, also including some of your experiences that you shared. A couple of months ago, I asked, like, okay, there might be a secret project coming up, and it would be super nice if you told your experience about No One Has to Bead Alone. So the editors of the Guild Journal selected 2 experiences and they shared it on the pages of the Guild Journal. So thank you so much for doing that. And it's super nice to see it on the pages of the magazine. And now I am adding the last sequence in between the bugles. So size 15, 2 delicas, size 11, and 2 more size 15s. I bead in the opposite direction through the size 11. I pull my thread. I go back through the last 3 beads that I added. And I complete the sequence with 2 delicas and a size 15. And this is going to be the last step, and this is when it should all even out finally. Even if you feel that, oh my god, it is a little bit wavy, it is not sturdy, then this next step should fix it for you. So let's see. We are going to add some size 15s in between. And Miriam says she saw the article. Thank you, but it's congratulations to not only me, but to everyone who keeps coming and keeps beading together. You're awesome, ladies. And Kata finished her first version. She says she's used the matte espresso delicas from the box. It's a new favorite. I'm so happy that you like it, Kata. And like brownish tones are not normally my favorites, but oh my god, like a bead that is called espresso, we can't go wrong with that one, I think. And now, final step, I bead through 3 round 15s and 1 MIYUKI DELICA, and I pick up a size 15 seed bead and I insert it into this gap and I bead through a delica and the size 15 seed beads. So since the size 15 is slightly smaller than the gap, then it will pull the beads outwards in the motif. So if they were slightly wavy until now, then they should be all right when you add this step. Kata, and are you beading earrings or something else? The fleur earrings that you added recently with the beautiful pink navets, that became one of my favorites from you. It came out so beautifully. The colors are vibrant and full of energy. And also the shape of the earring, because the design was originally a bracelet, but you changed it up and made a beautiful pair of statement earrings. It's very, very nice how you solved it. And Deb says that she's going to make Christmas ornaments from this. And Margaret says the diagram doesn't look like what I am beading. Can you tell me, please, where do you see the problem? I'm slightly tired now, so I may not notice, but can you please tell me? And if there is a mistake, then of course I will correct it. So I bead through the seed beads on top of the bugles, and then the first of the MIYUKI delicas out of 2. and I insert the size 15 into the gap, and then I bead through DELICA and all the seed beads on top of the bugle beads. Kata says it will be a pendant for her. Inserting the size 15, beading through DELICA, 3 round 15s in my main color, 1 round 15 in the middle, and so on and on. I'm nearly there now, and I hope you are too. So if you have any questions left, or if also yes, this silver in the middle, Margareta is asking about the color of the seed bead. I use 2 colors, so one color of the round 15s is the silver, one color is the gold, so indeed I am adding the same color, the silver ones, as before. So is it? Ariana says, you were right, the last step straightened out everything. Then thank you so much for your trusting me that it will be okay at the end. And I think we could also learn a little new trick, that when it seems like there are too many beads, it's wavy, then we can pull the beads more towards the edge of the motif by adding something slightly smaller than looks fitting for the first time, and it might even out the motif. And if it still doesn't work, there is always the solution, of course, to add a filigree. So thank you so much, ladies, for joining me today. I hope you liked beading this. I really enjoyed working with you again, and I can't wait to see your finished jewels. Please keep them coming during the weekend. And wishing you lots of creative ideas. I would also like to mention that during this week, we added lots of new cabochons to the Beadingschool bead shop. So if you liked the ice red color of the 12mm Rivoli from the first statement jewel, or if you liked the pear-shaped cabochons included in the box, then they are now available in many beautiful colors in the bead shop, also as bead bundles. Thank you, ladies, and have a nice, relaxing weekend. Bye-bye.